Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yashar's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But first and foremost, as always, as you know how we do it by now, we give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash, and the Akims and the elders in the highways and byways pushing this word in truth and sincerity. All praises. And the elder women teaching the younger women. All praises to you too. And the camps and the solo brothers going out there, pushing the word, edifying the body, pushing the truth according to scriptures in all media outlets possible. All praises. So there's no excuse to hear the pure word of this Bible. Now, what I am going to touch on today is, how do I say this? One of them other topics where this all-inclusive doctrine that comes from the Christian church. But I'm going to be Pacific. I'm actually going to one of the main races of people that has kept us in poverty, as a nation I'm talking about. There are a few of us that, has got wealthy, but you still cannot rise above your nation. Because even those, a few of our people that are wealthy, they're still looked down on by the other nations who are wealthy also. So, you can't rise above your nation. It doesn't work that way, yeah? You're still, even though you may have how much money or whatever, or living in the best place amongst them, they still despise you behind your back. And that's what you've got to realize. They pretend to smile and like you, but soon as you step on their toe, you hear the N-word come out as quick as a flash, showing you it was laying dormant. It was always there, just needed something to bring it, to the forefront. And that's why I'm going to the book of Obadiah. I'm going to start at Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10, and then we're going to go through some scriptures. And I'm titling this video is "You Can't Get Away Esau." So basically, Esau, which is the modern day Caucasian, Esau is the biblical name of the Edomites, which is Idumea, which is the modern day Caucasians of today. You can't get away from your judgment. So you can bring this all-inclusive theology all you like. The Bible is, the Most High has declared the end from the beginning, and your judgment is also already written. So you can't escape Esau. You can't get away Esau. That's the title of this video. You can't get away Esau. So no matter what you try to push a certain doctrine to get everybody to hold hands and kumbaya, there's a lot you've done, and you've got to pay for it. Same way we are paying for our disobedience. We disobeyed the Most High God. So he put us, into slavery, into your hands. But what have you done? You've gone overboard. You've forwarded the affliction. That's what you've done. Yeah? You've gone overboard. You've done more and beyond of what you were supposed to do as our punishment that came from the Most High, and he delivered us into your hands. But you've gone overboard. I mean, let's just touch on a few things quickly before I start this lesson. I mean, when you go into Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 28, let's just quickly run a few. 28:33, the fruit of our land and all that, so all that, our increase, you've taken our sons and daughters. You've split up families. You've taken us, take away sons and daughters from their mothers and fathers. You've split them up. You've raped our women. You've raped our men. You've castrated our men. You've done all sorts to our women's private parts, and also to the men's. You've cut them off. There's nothing you haven't done. I mean, you've put a yoke of iron around our necks. You'll find that in Deuteronomy 28 verse 48. You've turned, you've turned the men against the women and women against the men. You find it in verse 56 of Deuteronomy 28. I mean, especially in America, even here as well, but more so in America, because where America got guns. If you look at Deuteronomy chapter 28 again, verse 66, you get pulled over by a cop. And you don't know if you're going to survive. One little thing you say wrong, he can draw his gun and shoot you. Your life hangs in the balance. Tells us that in the scriptures. All these things, and we would be taken by a strange nation, which were the Caucasians, and other nations took us too, but I'm dwelling on the Caucasians for this lesson. And you would take us into your lands, and you would make us serve your gods. Caesar Borgia, gods of Christianity. You have this white image you gave us, and we have to bow down and worship that image. With the cross, you see many of our people walking around with a symbol of a cross on their neck, thinking they're proclaiming the Most High and the begotten Son. But no, you are proclaiming Christianity and all the doctrine that Christianity gives that came via the Romans, because it was there. The cross is a symbol of death. It's like in slavery when they used to hang us by the tree, hang us by the neck, and by the tree, the hangman's noose. Now you're having a hangman noose on a gold chain round your neck. It's the same principle as having the cross, because even though Yahushua, the one you call Jesus Christ, was crucified on the cross, but there were many people that was crucified before him on the cross. He's the most famous because he came for a purpose. But wearing that symbol on your neck, you are proclaiming Christianity and their belief. That's what you are doing. So you've got to educate yourselves, to know what you're doing, And even the scriptures say, if you go to Isaiah 42 verse 22, says that we'll be locked up in prison. I mean, when you look in prison, we do the least crime, but we're locked up in prison for the most time. And there's no assurance of are we coming out alive, let alone are we coming out at all. Baruch chapter 3 verse 8, we'll be subject to payments. So as much as now you think you're free and you're working, but they subject you to taxes and all kind of payments that they give it to you with the right hand and take it back with the left. That's in the scriptures. Haggai chapter 1 verse 6 tells you that you earn wages to put it in a bag of holes, meaning same thing. You'll be earning money, but it may as well you hadn't, because the same way how you earn it and they give it to you, they find other means to take it straight back from you. So you're constantly working, but you can't better yourself financially. That's what they're showing you. And Zechariah 11 and verse 5 showing you that, they will kill you and hold themselves not guilty. And you see it happens every day in the courts. When a so-called Caribbean or African, whatever you want to call us. I don't like using the word black, because black is something that they labeled us with. And when you look in the dictionary, like I've got one here, this is a large dictionary, a universal dictionary. It's got every definition, which obviously is definitions they have given. You look under the word black, you see like it's evil, somber, and like all kind of like nothing good. The black is defined to of mourning and everything. That's the definition I put. When you see white, as they label themselves, now you see clean, and you see all this brightness and innocence, and and all this. So with that said, I'm almost coming up to my marker. With that said, let's get into this lesson, and let's show you. I want to show you that Esau, you can't get away from your judgment. You can't get away, Esau. So I've got my timer in 3, 2, 1. Boom, we're away. Let's go straight now. I'm going to read Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10 first, and then we're going to go to other scriptures, and we're going to break things down. Watch this. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10, and it reads, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Now that's a proclaimment from the Most High. He said that shame will cover you and you'll be cut off forever. Why? For the violence against thy brother Jacob. Now, thy brother Jacob. Let's break that down. Let me show you, like where Esau and Jacob came into play. Watch this, yeah? We're going to go to Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. Listen to this. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. And it reads, and the children struggled together within her womb, within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh, of the Lord Yahweh. Now, that's just going into when Rebecca was pregnant, yeah? Isaac, Rebecca was pregnant, Isaac being the father. And what was going to happen? She looked like she was about to have twins, because it says the children struggled within her, showing you that there's two people within her struggling. So they're fighting already in the womb. Now let me read on. Verse 23. Remember, she went to inquire of the Most High. Verse 23 of Genesis 25. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So showing you now, she had two, but notice how the Bible tells you, like, they were going to be twins, but they're going to be two separate nations. So they're not only going to be like mannerisms different, they're going to look different also, because he said two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Now let me read verse 24. Verse 24 says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now listen to this, verse 25 of Genesis 25. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So the first one was born, Esau. He was red, like a hairy garment. Now, you lot call yourselves white, but you lot are actually different shades of red, because you can see the blood through your skin. Yeah? So you ain't white. White, you tried to say purity and all that. You're red. You're like, reddish, so we say. So you're, different shades of red. Just like we are not black. We are different shades of brown. Same thing. Watch this, yeah? Verse 26 of Genesis 25. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Notice how it doesn't describe Jacob. It only described Esau being red and hairy, like a hairy garment. And they named him Esau. Jacob, the reason why Jacob's description wasn't mentioned, because Jacob came out like everybody else, of like my complexion, as the color as the earth, yeah, same complexion. So he was of a dark skinned complexion. So Esau was different, red. Two nations, two different nations. Now you have the so-called, let's use that term that I don't like using. You have the so-called black man, and now you have the so-called white man, basically. Yeah, but the Bible doesn't say they're white. The Bible says it came out red. So bear that in mind. So you ain't white. You're not pure red. Yeah? Now, just showing you there, that's where they came out. And they were struggling from the womb, remember? And when Esau came out, and then Jacob came out after, remember, Jacob's hand took hold of Esau's heel. What does that mean? Remember, the Most High written the end from the beginning. Now watch this. I'm going to jump to the book of 2nd Ezra. Watch this, yeah? Jump to the book of 2nd Ezra. Just to show you what that means. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I'll take it at verse 7 into 9. Listen to this, yeah? 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 7, and it reads, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Listen to this, verse 8. And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau and his wife, Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So there you go, you see? So Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So bear that in mind. Now, let me show you something as I touch on that. Quickly jump to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 8. Listen to this. Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 8, and it reads, better is the end of a thing than beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So showing you it's a better the end of a thing. Remember, what do you call it? Jacob's hand hold Esau heel, symbolizing Jacob is the Esau is the beginning of the world, and Jacob is the end that follows. So showing you at the end, Jacob will prevail. Jacob being the 12 tribes of Israel, being his descendants, which is the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Native Americans today. So we will, once we hold steadfast to the law, statute, commandments, and the faith in Yahushua, the one you call Christ, the promise the Most High made to the children of Israel, we will get that promise and we will see that glory, and we will be living up there. Now, watch this. Actually, just want to show you this as well. Let me stay in Second Ezra's. Actually, I was going to come out of there, but stay in Second Ezra's, and I'll go to chapter 8, verse 1. Listen to this. Second Ezra's chapter 8, verse 1, and it reads, and he answered me, saying, the Most High has made the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Showing you everybody ain't gonna make it. It is what it is. Like it or leave it. It is what it is. Now, let's jump back to Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, I'll read it again. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Showing you now that this is against Esau, for the violence and all that against thy brother Jacob. Yeah, because you got to remember, Esau hated Jacob, because, like, first and foremost, if you go to if you go to Genesis chapter 25, and if you read from 29 to 34, you will see where Esau sold his birthright. Jacob didn't steal it. Esau sold his birthright to Jacob for some pottage, some red pottage or whatever they call it. Can't really go into it too much because time won't permit me. But Esau sold his birthright, and Jacob made Esau promise, and he swore. So he sold his birthright. Now, when you jump to Genesis chapter 27, when Isaac was old and his eyes were grey, and he wanted to bless his sons before he died. Now, Esau now tried to take back his birthright and get that blessing, which he had sold it. It was now by right Jacob. So Jacob obviously did whatever he did with the mother's Rebecca approval. Obviously, it was the mother Rebecca approval that really told him to do what he to do to get the blessing, while Esau went out into the field to hunt for the venison to feed his father, and then Jacob got the blessing. Now, when Esau came back and heard Jacob got the blessing, now he hated Jacob, his brother. But remember, he had sold his birthright, so it was no longer his. So, with that said, let me quickly jump to the book of Psalms. Psalms 120. I've got to get a move on because I don't know where the time's going. And verse 3. Listen to this. Psalms chapter 120 and verse 3. And it reads, what shall be given unto thee? Or what shall be done unto thee? Thou false tongue. And that's Esau right there. False tongue. He lied, because at the end of the day, now he was trying to now say that, like Jacob stole the birthright. Now he wants to kill, when the father dies and mourning is over, he wants to kill Jacob. But he had sold his birthright, so it was no longer his. I can't sell you my car, and then now I want to get, let's say, to Brixton, and I'm going to take back my car. You've got to sell it back to me. I can't just take it. I sold it to you. So it's no longer mine. Right. with that said, I'm going to jump to the book of Proverbs. Watch this. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 17. Watch this. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 17. And it reads, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. That's Esau in a nutshell. The modern day Caucasians, which are they known as today. They lie. They're proud, like you can't bring us down, and they lie through their teeth, and they've got a straight face with it. So you would believe them because they come out looking all innocent and godly, and they lie, and they got hands that shed innocent blood, and they've been doing that for centuries, even up to today. How they're getting our men in, police officers in chokeholds, shooting them, in whatever they're doing with them, and they're getting away scot-free. Yeah, this is the things that Esau does. But there are judgments. There's judgments for you. You're not getting away, Esau. You can't get away from the judgment that is written, against you by the Most High, not by me. Don't shoot the messenger, by the Most High. It's written in the scriptures. Now watch this. I'm going to jump to 2nd Ezra. Once again, watch this. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 22. Watch this. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 22. And it reads, this is the Most High saying this, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. You see that? That's what Esau does, yeah? And watch this, jump down to verse 27. Now listen to this. For now are the plagues, this is verse 27 of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and it reads, for now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. See that? So the plagues, we're going to remain in the plagues that's come upon the whole earth. Listen to this. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. How have you sinned against him? You are trying, you had perpetual hatred against thy brother. Because remember, when you go to what's that verse? Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17 into 18. Thou shalt not hate thine brother in thine heart. Thou shalt otherwise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Yeah, and you should love thy neighbor as yourself, your brother. So they haven't taken heed to any of what the Most High has said. They're just doing what they want, and they feel they're up there. Who can bring me down? Now, let's actually, and you see, this is the thing with our people. As soon as you get a bit comfortable and you get a bit of money and you're living amongst them, you think it's all great. You think they like you and everything. But watch this. This is what the Most High says, and this is something you must remember. And it reads, Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 7. Remember the days of old. The Most High doesn't say, oh, forget, walk hand in hand, kumbaya. He says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. So think about all that's happened to your generation in the past and who has done these things. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. So you have to think about all these things that's happened to you in the past, your forefathers, the people before you who were taken into slavery, who fought and everything for you to get this little bit of liberty you have. Think on these things, yeah? Now, watch this. I'm going to jump back to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and I'm going to jump up a verse to verse 9. Listen to this. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 9, and it reads, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Sorry, I had to read that slow so that can soak in. Let me read it again just so you can get it. Yeah, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that everyone, hear that, everyone, not just some of the good ones, or everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Yeah, you hear that? By cut off by slaughter. Everyone at the mount of Esau shall be cut off by slaughter. And in case you don't know who Esau is, let me just refresh your memory. Genesis chapter 36, verse 8. Watch this, yeah? Genesis 36 and verse 8, and it reads, Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. So the Edomites, Esau, Idumean, that's Edom. Mount Seir is Edom. So you see when the Bible says Mount Seir, it's Edom. The Caucasian, modern day, that's their biblical name. But now they're known as Caucasian and they call themselves white. Yeah, just to let you know that. Now, Bible just said they'll be cut off by slaughter. Now, let me quickly jump to Ezekiel. Watch this, yeah? This is going to bring it home. This is all for them. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 2. Watch this. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 2, and it reads, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Esau. I just showed you who Esau is. Mount Seir. So lucky, not Mount Esau. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So Mount Seir is Esau. I just showed you that in Genesis 36 verse 8. Watch this. Verse 3. And say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh, power. Behold, O Mount Esau, Mount Edom. I don't know why I keep saying Esau, Edom. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. Hear that? I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Here we go. Verse 4. I will lay the cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, that he is Yahweh. Yeah? Verse 5. Here's why. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So you see, you're persecuting us even up to today. The Most High is not happy with you, yeah? And that's putting it mildly. Now watch this, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, power, I will prepare unto thee blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Seest thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Listen to this, verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth. You hear that? Verse 8. And I will fill his mountains with the slain men. I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers. They shall fall that are slain with the sword. Verse 9. I will make thee perpetual desolate, and the cities shall not return, and ye shall know that he is Yahweh. It says, I am Yahweh, but you know. Watch this, verse 10. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. So you see, you've said that, you've said out your own mouth that, oh, the blacks, the Hispanics, the Native Americans, which were the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, the house of Judah and the house of Israel. You've possessed them, and you spoke blasphemy. Watch this, yeah. Ezekiel 35 verse 12. And thou shalt know, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. So you see, these are the things you've done. That's your judgment from the Most High. I've run out of time. With that, this is Yashua Allah. We out.